Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well on this wonderful Tuesday afternoon. I'm so excited that you all have taken the opportunity to join us with the Renewal Center for Tea Time Tuesday today. Here in Concord, North Carolina, it is just a beautiful day. It is not that hot like it's normally been, but it's beautiful out there. The sky is just as clear as it can be today. And I am on location here at the Renewal Center. Good morning to everyone that is joining us today. My name is Carmela Head, and I am the Director of Renewal and Community Programs here at the Renewal Center. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon, Evangelist Tiffany. How are you doing this morning? I'm so glad everybody is joining us. Don't forget to invite your friends to join us today for Pause and Reset, like we always do at the Renewal Center on Tea Time Tuesday. Invite your friends, tag your friends. Also, let people know that we are streaming live over on the It's Patrick Brown page on YouTube. We're streaming live there also. And so invite your friends, bring your friends for a time of pause and reset as we foster resilience. That is just awesome. I'm so excited. We're going to give a few more seconds here to get people to come on in and to join us for Tea Time Tuesday. Go get your tea. Bring your tea and join us for this wonderful time of just rejuvenating ourselves, just taking a break today to reset and get ourselves situated for a marvelous day. And welcome everyone so far that's joining us on the platforms. Good morning to everyone. Hope you got your tea and everything. I know I have my tea today. I have ginger tea, ginger spice tea. I'm excited about it, and I can't wait to just sit back and relax and enjoy my tea today. And so I'm going to go ahead without further delay and get started today with our tea of the week. I'm excited about the tea of the week. Our tea of the week is sencha tea. I know we talked about green teas before, but I want to zero in the next couple of weeks on specific types of green tea. And so our tea of the week is sencha tea. Sencha is a very popular green tea. It has originated from Japan. It's made from the small leaf of the Camellia sinensis tea branch. I know we talk about that all the time, the tea bush, I'm saying. It's a very interesting factor that is about sencha tea is that its preparation and processing time is a little different. The steeping time is very quick compared to some of the other teas. We steep them, for a little lengthy time just to get the flavor, but it's very, very quick, and it's usually steamed, unlike some of the other teas. It is only steamed in seconds, and actually it's steamed at a hotter temperature as well than most teas. So sencha green tea has a beautiful green hue to it. Kind of looks like what's on the screen there. A nice, pretty green, refreshing, and it has different hues, but it's really typically green. Good morning, Daphne. Good morning, Nicole. I see people are coming on in. Good morning, Michelle. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Once again, don't forget to invite your friends, tag your friends, and share this on your social media platforms if you would like, and let people also know that we're streaming live over there on the It's Patrick Brown page on YouTube this morning. So it's so good to see all of you. Don't forget to bring your tea this morning. The flavor of the sencha tea is very refreshing. It ranges from sweet to earthy. It depends on how long it's steamed. And then it's a loose tea compared to some of the other teas. It's a loose tea, and it actually, you can make several cups of tea just from that one batch that you have of the sencha tea. And so moving along, for our book of the week inside of our thought room, our book of the week this week it's entitled Intercession and Prayer. The Secrets of Intercession and Prayer, and it's by Andrew Murray. And this book is a very, very interesting book. Actually, I didn't even know that this is a 4-month devotional book. So it's actually talking about discovering God's abiding presence. And have you discovered the blessings of praying with others? That's what this book is about. It's broken up into 4 sections. The Secret of Abiding Presence, The Secret of Adoration, The Secret of Intercession, and The Secret of United Prayer. It's a brief and to the point book, a devotional, and these devotional thoughts contain a wealth of Murray's teachings written out of the mature fullness of his experience in Christ. So really excited about promoting the books that we have, the books on prayer for the next couple of months as we focus on prayer. And don't forget that this is our Social Wellness Awareness Month and to foster positive relationships. And so without further delay, we want to go ahead and good afternoon, Lisa. And I also see Dr. Brown. My dad is on here. Good afternoon, Dr. Brown. I hope that you brought your tea with you today. What kind of tea do you have today? And so I also see Hope Melton, who is our other director of digital and renewal and stewardship. She's behind the scenes making sure that the platform is running smoothly. And so without further delay, we want to bring on our executive director, Patrick J. Brown, for the rest of our Tea Time Tuesday. Okay, I guess that he's behind the scenes working back there too. Is there anyone that like to share what type of tea they have until Patrick gets on here? I see Celestine. Hi, Celestine. What type of tea do you happen to have today? Okay, I see that Dr. Brown has organic black tea. Okay, I want to bring you guys up to speed here. We're having some technical difficulty behind the scenes. Patrick is working on taking care of that technical difficulty, but in the time being, everybody, if they could go ahead and post their teas, we would love to share what type of tea you're having today or whatever you're drinking. What is your drink of choice? Because I know lately there's been a lot of water, different kind of waters and coffees. And I see Lisa says there's no tea today. Okay. Tawana, hi Tawana, good morning or good afternoon. I'm glad that you guys are watching this morning. Celestine says she has coffee with French vanilla. Hello, Elder Monique, how are you? And I see that Audrey, she's joined us and she has water. Keisha has coffee again today. Okay, and Nicole, she tried the dandelion tea. All right, Evangelist Tiffany has water and Elder Monique has water. Hope has water. I tell you, everybody has water today. You guys are taking care of your hydration. Well, you know, until we can get Patrick J. Brown, our executive director, comes back on here and finishes up everything with the technical difficulty, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about rest and relaxation. I want to talk to you about if you could give me a quick second here. I want to talk to you about rest and relaxation and taking a pause and how important it is for us to carve out the time that we need. You know, this morning, it's really interesting. I was walking, doing my daily walk, and I stepped outside my front door and I have some begonias. I have some annuals, some red annuals on one side. And then on the other side, I have some white begonias. And as I was walking out of the door, it was really interesting that I took the time to savor just that moment of the beauty of those flowers. I took time to rest. I took time to pause. Pausing is so important in our daily lives. And you know, since you guys have joined us on Tea Time Tuesday for some time, we've learned a lot of practices on how to take care of ourselves, from massaging our hands to relieving stress in the office, because a lot of us work at computers all day. We work with our hands. I wanted you guys to join me really quick and interact with me and let me know what type of practices have you enjoyed while you have been tuning in to Tea Time Tuesday. I know that I have really enjoyed the practices talking about procrastination or perfectionism, or just how to slow down and take a break and give ourselves some cushion time between meetings, because it's so important. And so I would like you guys to join in. I know we're having some technical difficulties behind the scene, but that's okay. We're going to continue on with Tea Time Tuesday today. I have my tea, and I'm going to sip on my tea for a quick second. And I just saw that the executive director came into my office. And I'm going to move out of the way and allow him to take over here on my computer screen. You know, you got to be ready. We got to be ready. But I have my tea and I'm going to move out of the way. That's right, Michelle. Fix it, Jesus. That's right. And you know what? We're going to continue on. I'm going to move out of the way and I'm going to let Patrick J. Brown come forth and finish with Tea Time Tuesday. So give us a quick second as we switch places.
Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome. Yes, technical difficulties. Thank you so much, Carmela. So we're going to continue to go ahead and move forward with our conversation today. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to focus specifically today on belief and the power of belief. That was what we were speaking with last week, dealing with social wellness and the importance of belief and how that impacts us at a cellular level, at a basic fundamental level. And so I'd like us today, if you will, with me, let's take a pause here for a moment as we normally do, and let's locate ourselves. Let's locate ourselves, let's relax ourselves, and let's think through how our belief and the core of our belief impacts where we are. So let's just take 30 seconds, go ahead and sip your tea, and let's just relax ourselves and reset ourselves as we prepare to have our conversation today. Thank you so much. I did have my slides, but hey, we can continue. Technology, things happen. Let's continue to move forward. I wanted to share with you today about belief and how there are different aspects of how we believe and how that impacts who we are. Last week, we began to dive into this conversation about how belief impacts us at a cellular level. We can believe something so dearly, even if it's wrong, that it begins to shift us who we are. It begins to shift our mindsets. It begins to shift our whole world that we're living in because of a belief. And so I'd like us to think through today about belief and how I wanted to introduce to us that there is a dialogue between your belief and your brain and your body. Your belief, your brain, and your body, and how important it is for us to begin to manage perceptions, to manage belief, to manage when we believe something and how that particular belief begins to impact our brain. And then there's a relationship between, of course, our brain and our body and how it begins to impact who we are and how we begin to function on a day-to-day basis. So what I'd like us to do is I'd like us to think through this from a perspective of when I believe something, think about this. How has a belief that you've had, whether it be based on truth or whether it be based on something that's not true, how has it impacted your being, the totality of who you are? And why is it important for us to begin to manage why we believe or how we believe a particular way? Go ahead and put that in the chat. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Hear your thoughts on what takes place when you and I begin to believe a particular way and why we believe that and what happens to us when we begin to allow that belief to impact who we are. How important is that? Go ahead and place that in the chat. And I think it'd be good for us to begin to meditate on that because our belief at a cellular level, we can believe that we're ill and that it impacts our physiology. We can believe that there's a fear chemistry or a fear chemical reaction that takes place. Then there's also a love chemical reaction that takes place. And so those particular beliefs, the way that we're wired, we begin to manifest or begins to impact how we engage with people, even how we believe about someone else, the way that we perceive others will also begin to change the dynamics, of course, of how we interact with them. So I want us to think through about the stories and the beliefs that we all possess. So go ahead and place that in the chat and begin to share with us, how has your belief impacted your world? Now, we're not talking about necessarily spiritual beliefs. We're talking about the totality of our beliefs. Many of us believe many things. So, this is transcending religion, this is transcending spirituality. This is about the day to day operations and how we need to begin to look at what we believe. I find it also interesting that there are times in our belief that if we believe a particular thing about people, or say, for instance, we create a story about someone else, and that story may not be true, but we believe that story. Imagine what takes place when we believe a story, when we create an additional story, and then when we begin to act on that story, and we find out later that it's not true. Sometimes that happens to us, where people view us a particular way and they begin to believe something, and it may not even be something that we've done, or it could be something that there wasn't clarity in the communication, or perhaps there was something that took place in the workplace with a colleague or a coworker, and then as a result of that, when we believe it, it impacts the totality of who we are. So there's some comments coming in. Carmela Head says, our mindset matters. Absolutely. Lisa says, beliefs influence everything we do. False beliefs can distort reality. Monique Jackson says, if you believe that you're not qualified to do something, it affects your confidence and self-esteem. Absolutely. Please continue to share with us your insights. We wanted to focus on social wellness this month and how belief impacts us at, again, a cellular level, literally an atomic level, that the entire physiology, cellular structure of my body is impacted because of my belief. There are chemicals that are released into our bodies and into our environments based upon what we believe. It's interesting that even in time management, let's just take time management. Has anyone ever said, I just don't have enough time? Has anybody ever said, I don't have enough time? Or you said things like, there's just so much going on. There's so much going on. And as a result of saying there's so much going on, what do you think takes place when we believe those things? So if we literally believe that I don't have enough time, what do you think will take place if we continue to say those things and believe those things? If we begin to embrace those concepts, what do you think takes place when we begin to speak the fact that I don't have enough time? There's so much going on. I'm just so busy. There are other aspects that we begin to release as a result of our belief systems. What else do you see here? Hmm. Very good insight. Yes, it becomes our reality. Absolutely. Hmm. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, even something as simple as a technology challenge. I could believe, oh, we're not going to have a good, effective tea time today. Mm-mm. We just shift. We continue to foster resilience. We continue to show, you know what? Let's enjoy ourselves today and just make adjustments. And as a result of that, we believe we can continue. Something as simple as that, a simple shift in belief. I want us to think about that. Here are more comments coming in. Becoming our reality. What we believe will determine how we behave and will shape our reality. Our words have power. And think about this, even with the beliefs that may precede the words, we're already thinking these inside internally. So, to go back to that question, if we believe that we don't have time, then our entire world, even before we say it, will begin to adjust to that belief. Our world will adjust to it. I want us to think about the things that we've embraced. And I know I've used time as the uh, example, but I like also to think about other concepts that we've absorbed, other ideas that we believe and internalize. Have you ever perhaps had someone have a belief about you? And as a result of that, the way that they're relating to you is based upon a belief, whether that belief is true or whether that belief is false. And if you look at the word believe, at the root of it is L-I-E. L-I-E, lie. Maybe I'm believing something and I'm empowering a thought that I should not have. Wow. We can transform our world if we look at the beliefs that we possess and begin to ask ourselves this question. I want you to leaning with me on this. Why do I believe what I believe? Where did I get this information from? How do I even know if it's true? What happens if I'm wrong? See, if we build our belief even about ourselves, our beliefs about other people, our beliefs about the nature of the world that we live in, then our environment will begin to be shaped. It'll begin to be formed based upon the beliefs that we give it. Think about what we do when we are interacting with a particular group of people that we believe about them. Sometimes it could be a political figure, an iconic figure, and we get information or misinformation from media or from other people, or maybe a story that is wrong, it's incorrect, it's not facts. And then we internalize and believe it. And then we begin to shift who we are in our trajectory and what we project in our interactions based upon a belief that we did not look at the core of it. I want us to think about in social wellness, how does our beliefs impact even social wellness? Imagine if we took the time to say, I'm going to look at why I believe, even the way that I believe, and why I believe it. And we keep saying that word over and over again. Why? We're saying that because it's important for us to take a step back and begin to not just analyze, but begin to let what's inside of us surface because we've taken a chance to reset ourselves. I say, I'm not going to really move on until I become clear on why I'm embracing this idea. Imagine the power of the right idea about yourself. Imagine the power of an accurate idea about your family, about the world that's around you. Imagine the power of the idea that you can actually have control over your schedule, that you can have control over your time. Even when we say, I don't have enough time, there's so much going on in my life. And it might be true that there's a lot of things that are going on, but does that mean that that belief has to rule us? And sometimes we allow it to. I've had to take steps back many times in my life. Maybe you have as well, where you had to take a step back and say, I need to look at why I'm believing this. Times I've told myself stories, and then next thing you know, your stress level goes up. Irritation grows, aggravation grows, all those different behaviors begin to grow. Then there's that fear, love, chemistry that goes on inside of us, and then that's in our brains, and then it communicates to our body, and then next thing you know, that's how we're living in our world. And we don't take time to begin to do that. So it's important that we really take time to shift belief. Monique Jackson says, I've been perceived as being unapproachable by some employees. As a leader in the workplace, I am busy and on the go. I'm also direct as I target the goals I've been achieved. So the narrative is that I am serious and unapproachable by some. Isn't it interesting? And I'm so glad that you're sharing that, Monique, because there are times that people create a belief narrative. And many times as they have a perception of even what a manager is supposed to be. They have a belief that this is how a manager should be, or this is how a boss should be, or what have you. And many times those beliefs become part of our interaction or our lack of interaction with other people. Well, you just seem to be serious all the time. When really you love to laugh, you enjoy life. They may not know certain aspects of who you are or even why you are the way you are. So I think it's incumbent upon all of us to take a step back before we form opinions that become rooted in belief. And as a result of that, we may lose the privilege, the blessing, and the opportunity to get to know someone richly because we have a belief that is not correct. Maybe opportunities that might be missed because of a simple belief. Perhaps there's doors that did not open because I didn't believe in the door that could have been opened for me, or a provision that could have been made. And I want us to really think about this as it relates to social wellness in our tea time. What are we believing? Why are we believing it? Perhaps where do we get that information? How do we know if that's even true? Because of the core of belief. Let's rest for a moment here and let's foster resilience some more, because in the sharing and the comments, this is very powerful. This community that we built in tea time, it's like being in a real cafe. And we're sitting down having tea. Wish you were here at the Renewal Center so we can just sit out back or sit on the porch and have this conversation. And I want you to spend some time in July with your close friends and talk about belief. Let's talk about belief. And I think what we can do is we can create a powerful transformation when we talk about belief. This is incredible content that we're sharing today in this engagement. Um, that's right, Lisa. Missed opportunities. Absolutely, that's right. And you're right, Monique. It can be hurtful because what we may know as true and somebody else knows as not true, then what ends up happening is there's a certain release of perspective that impacts our life because of a core belief. So what we can do is we can believe in that kind of situation when people have false perceptions of you or a misperception. You can say, I believe that I'm going to continue to evolve. I'm going to continue to experience daily transformation. And as you continue to evolve and you affirm in your belief daily transformation, then what ends up happening is you experience that change. And so now you become gracious with yourself, even when others may not be gracious with us. I want us to think about that. Let's think about belief from that perspective. Let's think about how we can, if we had an entire world that decided, a group of people or a department that says, we're going to experience change by shifting what we believe about a project, shifting what we believe about what's at the root or foundation of my heart and my head space, so that perhaps what's being revealed in my life could be based upon what I've been believing for so long. By the time we're 7 years old, we're impressionable, and our belief systems begin to, we begin to focus on those belief areas. And as a result of doing that, we begin to live it out. We begin to live it out. So I'd like us to commit ourselves, if you can join us, and we'll revisit this also next Tuesday, of looking at the power of the belief about ourselves and what we're believing about who we are internally and why we do that. And I think the more that we spend that time in that, we'll experience a change in the world that we live in, just with the simple power of an idea that we may or may not embrace. So let's be transparent here. Let's have an authentic moment. What idea? You don't have to answer this in the chat, but I want you to think about this and reflect. Locate yourself, as we say. What belief do you have, or an idea that you may have embraced, that has brought you to where you are right now? Whether it be a love idea or a fear idea. And I use those two words because fear or in an insecurity or a lack communicates. Love and security and care and call, that communicates. So what belief or idea or ideals or ideas have we embraced and believed that cause us to behave or act or perceive or allow certain feelings to emerge that eventually will find its way of an expression? Because a belief will impact the brain. The brain will impact what? The body. And the idea will find a place of expression. A place of expression. Well, I was having technical difficulties in the other room. I was like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. Am I going to be able to? And all that. And there's like, no, there's no such thing as a perfect presentation. Let me relax. This is tea time. So we just sip tea and we have conversation. But I can remain fragile and say, because I want to make sure it's done with excellence, make sure it comes across well. And then we begin to think, well, maybe that's what I'm believing, but how we respond to even challenges. Do we believe that we have to be perfect? Do we believe we have to be on point and on every single moment? And the answer is really no, because nobody's always on. But yet, maybe my belief even in that was, oh wow, if this doesn't come, oh man, So again, I want you to think about beliefs, ideas, ideals that you may have embraced that have impacted where you are. Here's one. Camilla says, I'll share that I'm inconvenient. Okay. So in that, Camilla, now thank you for that transparency and sharing that with us. Perhaps in that belief, we build our world around that belief. So now you have an opportunity, Camila, to deprogram that idea and say, is it true? Or ask the question, am I inconvenient? Why do I even think that? Where did I get that information from? How do I know it's true? Am I really wrong? Maybe I am wrong. Wow. But yet I still might embrace that because that's what I believe, right? So I want us to think about that. Here's another one. Carmela is saying reacting versus responding, taking a step back. There are times I've reacted. Because I react, let me take a step back. Let me take a step back. And as a result of taking a step back, I can respond now instead of reacting. Okay, Camilla says here, my parents were teens in college when I was born. So that belief comes from that particular core belief. See, this is powerful because now you're able to go back to the seed of the belief and say, is the seed even accurate? Although in somebody else's mind, they may think that you were inconvenient, but because you exist, you are not inconvenient. That's the power of changing our narratives. So there's a teen pregnancy, there's a teen birth. As a result of that, that thought process may say to me, like, oh, well, I'm inconvenient because maybe those words were said, or even if words weren't said, maybe actions or just perceptions or beliefs that evolve. Now we're able to go back, and I appreciate you, Camila, for sharing that with all of us here on our tea time. You're now able to go back to the seed of the belief and say, no, I'm not going to believe that because that's not true. And so, in saying that out loud and thinking about that and meditating, right, that in your thoughts, your belief now is sending a different chemistry. Instead of the fear chemistry of inconvenience, it's the love chemistry that I am worthy, I'm enough, I'm existing, I'm evolving. All those positive energy, positive perspectives, positive life things. So you're going back to the seed of the belief, and we all can do that. Now, I know some people may not want to use the word energy. I get it, but we do have life. And because we have life, we have to look at the seed of what's planted in our belief and then what germinates, what grows. Am I watering that seed? You can water that seed with the wrong people, and they may agree with that thought, and then they begin to treat you based upon that wrong belief, or you can water it based upon those that have access to your mental garden. So we're looking at seeds. That's why we affirm. That's why we have inspirational words. That's why we do positive things. We've talked about that, building an atmosphere. I went skating, and let me tell you a little story. I went skating Saturday with my brother, Paulie, and we went skating, which I enjoy skating. And I've had the same skates for years. And I was like, I'm not gonna get rid of these skates. These are my skates, you know. These skates have memories. He's like, man, just get a new skates, man. Go ahead, man. Do it tonight, man. Get a new skate. Now, I wanted to get new skates. I had already knew that I wanted to do it. This is something funny, but it's just a practical story. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and do this because I wanted to be able to get back into my hobbies. So I got a little nudge to go ahead and do it. And once I did, because that's something I was going to do anyway, that little nudge, I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And there was like a release of fun and energy and laughter that we had as a result of me believing, let me go ahead, I'll have some fun with this. But I was so stuck into using my old skates. Something as simple as that. Maybe not the best example, but nonetheless, it released hobbies, recreation, something I needed to do since I had been experiencing transition in my own life. And it added a dimension of positivity and encouragement. So again, we have to look at going back to the seed of our belief. Karen shares this, allowed others to place me in a position. You always know, you always have the answers. You're a walking resource, and I tried to live up to it and could not. Wow, powerful. Michelle says, mind renewal is not only learning new things, rather it's also releasing old things, old ways of thinking. Absolutely. All these areas are absolutely true. And I want to encourage us to look at all of the seed of our belief and begin to realize what is impacting us, but also look at what's impacting others based upon what's at the core of who we are. All right. I know we're getting close to our time to end tea time today, but I hope that we've had an opportunity to take a step back and think about. That's what I wanted to share. I did have some slides, and that's okay. I think this was organic, and I think in this organic conversation and our time together at tea time, this was very helpful. And I appreciate Carmela letting me come in and use the computer in here since the other one went out, and yet we're still able to engage in this conversation. So I want to encourage you for the month of July. We're going to be talking about belief every Tuesday, so you don't want to miss next week. And I want you to think about what seeds of beliefs have been fostered in the soil of your mind, in the garden of your mind, and begin to take some time to perhaps, is it de-weed? Is that a word? Or take weeds out? Okay. Look at what's maybe in the root so far, or perhaps there are weeds that we just need to kind of cut at the root so that the freshness of our garden, we can begin to think about that. All right. Nicole shares something, says sometimes we fit into certain statistics and believe things about ourselves simply because the data says so. Had to change my belief that every story is not my story. Ooh, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Taking the time to challenge unhealthy beliefs are essential. That's right, Lisa. You're following up and reiterating what our focus is today. This is good. Thanks, everyone, for participating. Latasha says, go back to the seed of the belief. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Look, folks, I want to encourage you, through your tea time every day, or perhaps later on this week, to think about the power of belief and its impact upon you at a core level. And perhaps through your time of journaling, your time of prayer, your time of meditation, even for those of you that are saying, I just don't have enough time, I just got so much going on. Let's remove certain confessions that block us from building new beliefs. Can we say that? I will remove certain confessions that block the emergence of new accurate beliefs. There are certain things that I need to remove from my vocabulary that do not add to my evolving, my growth, my expansion. And you don't always have to react, even for what's said around you. There are times you can hear things, hear inconsistencies with what's at the core of who you are, and just simply breathe through it. Just smile and not internalize, not create an additional narrative, not begin to build out other perspectives. So I don't encourage you to do that, if you will. Okay. So I want us to take some time and consider that. Next week, we will be doing that. Dr. Paul Brown says, need to make inventory. Like we rotate the milk, we need to refresh our thinking. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that so much. So I think that let's take a few minutes before we close out and let's think through beliefs. And let's take the time to say to ourselves, I'm uprooting beliefs that don't produce life. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Okay. You're welcome, Monique. Thank you so much for coming on today, everyone. I want to remind you to be with us next Tuesday. Be with us next Tuesday. And we will be back here at noon for Tea Time Tuesday. Think about beliefs. Think about perspectives. All these ideas coming. You're welcome, Teresa. Thank you. Daphne, you're welcome. Audria, thank you for sharing that. Learning how people treat you is an indicator. Tiffany, thank you so much. Blessings to you. This has been a great subject today. I hope that it's been beneficial to you. You're welcome, Keisha. Everyone, please remind you, you're welcome. Dad, thank you for being on. Please remember, if you can, go to our website, www.therenewalcenters.com/give to support what we're doing. If Tea Time is being an addition to you, if you believe Tea Time and the Renewal Center is adding value, we encourage you, text to give, all right? Download our mobile app. You can go to your store, your Android store, your Google store, your Apple store, download the Renewal Center. Thanks so much. Natasha, thank you so much for coming on. Karen, thank you so much for coming on. Lisa, thank you. Please go to our Renewal Center page, www.therenewalcenters.com/give, or you can text the give option, Hope Melton, our director in our digital renewal, she's posted that information. We'll repost it for you if you'd like to join us and connect with us in supporting our vision of what we're doing with Tea Time and the other programming. So I hope that you're having a fabulous summer. Continue to encourage your social wellness. Charlena, thank you so much for being on. Karen, thank you so much for being on. We'll see you here next week. We're going to continue with the focus on belief. All right. Kimberly, thank you for coming on. This has been a great conversation. Make sure you take time to rest, to reset. And how do we foster resilience? We believe that we need each other, that we all have value, and that we're all enough. All right. So I can't end the programming today on this computer, but we'll just let it flow. What's that? Oh, okay. All right, folks. Thanks so much for being on. And thank you, Carmelo, for letting me use the laptop. This has been great. I am Renewal. Make sure you connect with someone. Let's continue to foster our connectivity in the area of building resilience. All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the time. Have a great day.